Hi everyone, and welcome to part 2. In part 1 we looked at what the composition of an army was of the time period. So we had regiments, brigades, army corps, etc. And then we talked about commanders and how they are used to get your units moving, and a different quality of commander made movement easier or harder depending on the quality. This one, part 2, we're going to look at shooting. What I'll do is I'll set the table up, put a couple of units out, one from each side obviously. We'll put the stats up, and then we'll talk about what stats are used when you're using your shooting and how morale plays a part in shooting, and also what happens if you get a 6, which causes a disorder. So let's have a look at that. Okay guys, so where we are, we have British on this side and we have Continental on that side. Both armies are the same size, they are both regular, and I'll just put the stats up now. So on the left we've got British line infantry, which is 4 bases for standard. They are armed with a smoothbore musket, hand-to-hand 6, shooting 3, morale 4, stamina 3, and you have the first fire rule. And if you're playing a points game, then these are 37 points. And then the Continentals are Continental infantry, and it's exactly the same. 4 bases, smoothbore musket, hand-to-hand 6, shooting 3, morale 4, and stamina 3. And again, with first fire rule, and yes, 37 points. So both forces are exactly the same stats-wise. And so last time I mentioned about your movement and everything is all done by commanders. So this is just going to be shooting. So epic black powder is basically exactly the same as normal black powder, except everything is halved. So I'll put the table up now. So as you can see, smoothbore carbines 6-inch range, smoothbore muskets 9-inch range, rifle carbines 9-inch, rifle muskets 12, light artillery 18, and smoothbore artillery 24. So I say that is half the range that it would be if you're playing standard black powder, which is 28-inch scale, and distances are the same as well. Your movement is all halved. So in theory, your 6x4 table using epic only needs to be 3 foot by 2 foot for the same size table. That is why epic is really good if you're short on space. Do consider epic battles if you want to play black powder. So you've got some nice dice here. So we've got red dice for the British, and we've got blue dice for the Continentals. So as you can see from the stats, the shooting value for both is 3. So that's 3 dice they're going to use when they shot. However, they have both got the first fire rule, which means the first time they fire, they get an extra dice. Now what we're going to do is we're going to roll a dice for each side. Obviously red for British and blue for Continentals, and whoever gets the highest number is going to go first. So let's roll the dice and see what happens. So the Continentals are getting to shoot first. Okay, so because they went first, then they get to roll their dice first. So they get 4 dice plus 1 for the first fire roll. So they're going to shoot at the, so let's check range. Yes, they're within 9 inches. That is conveniently, isn't it? Strange how convenient that they are within range, but there you go. So let's roll the dice and see how we get on. Ooh. Oh, and so that's 2 hits. So that's 2 potential wounds. So what happens now is the British must take a morale save for the 2 hits. So they roll 2 dice, and you need whatever the morale is, which 4. So they need 4 or more to stop those shots getting through. So we roll here, and they fail them both. So that means that the British have took 2 hits. Ooh, ouch, that hurt, didn't it? So the British are going to shoot back. You fired at me. I'm not having that. I'm going to shoot back. Oh, again, we know the range is right because they've got the same range weapons. And again, they have the first fire rule, so they roll 4 dice. So let's see how the British get on. And they roll 1. Now, rolling a 6 means that the unit becomes disordered. So we will mark the unit with this little disordered marker there. Now, because they're disordered, these disordered markers, you can get off the website if you want to download your own to use during the games. Feel free. You don't have to pay for it. Just links down below. Just go onto the website, download the markers, print them off, and away you go. So that unit is disordered. It doesn't matter now. I'm going to roll to see if I can save this wound. Nope. So they take 1 casualty. However, even if I'd saved that wound, they would still be disordered, because if you roll a 6 when shooting, then you disordered the target and they are disordered. So being disordered is not good because it actually puts restrictions on the unit. If you become disordered, then you cannot be given any orders by your commander. So you can't be given orders to move, follow me. Commander can't join or leave the unit. So if there's a commander who's attached to that unit, that commander is stuck with the unit because he was disordered. Also, because you're disordered, you cannot do initiative or moves as well. And also, they suffer a -1 roll penalty for shooting and combat. And also a -1 penalty on break tests. We haven't got to break test yet. We'll do a couple more rounds of shooting and then we'll see what happens. So it's back to the continental side. So we know that they can't move and they're disordered. So that means they now need 5s to hit. But you only get 3 dice now because they've used the first fire ability. So now we're going to shoot back. And there we go. Oh, and look. They have just disordered the British. The British have got 2 saves to make. And saves them both, but they are disordered. But they don't take any more casualties, so they're still on 2. So they're not shaken yet. And now, back the other side. Again, the British have lost their first fire ability. So we're going to fire 3 dice at the Continentals. We got 1 hit because they need a 5 to hit because of the disorder. But it's disordered them again. So that's a shame because that means that they're not going to lose it now at the end of the turn because they've got it. So they still can make the save. Only fail it. So now they're on 2 hits. But they're still disordered, unfortunately, so they can't do anything. So they're just going to have to shoot back again. So I'm going to shoot. And they all miss. Oh no, that's not good. Because that means now the British turn again. And because it's come back to them, they can remove the disorder because it's their turn again. And they can fire with their 3 shots. And again, they do the same thing, they don't hit. This is how the dice gods work with me. I have really bad rolls. So we're going back again. Now, because they didn't hit, their turn again, they lose the disorder. And they can fire again. There's 1 hit. There's only a 5. So again, British do a check. Fail it. So now they're on 3, which is the stamina value. Now because the unit has took 3 casualties as such, which is equal to its stamina value, it is now shaken. which is not good, because if they take any more hits, they're liable to take a break test, and it's not good at all. So okay, now they're going to shoot back. And look at that, see? That's because they're shaking. Look how low they're rolling. That's what I'm saying. But the shaking can't come off because you can't get rid of them unless an officer joins the unit to remove them. So they will now be shaking until an officer can rescue them or de-break and free the field. So let's shoot again. So Continental shooting at the British again. Oh, and we've got 2 hits. Now this could be dangerous now. So now we've got to roll, and we need 2 saves. No, failed them both. That puts the British on 5 casualties. Now because they're above the stamina value, you have to take a break test. So I've got to roll 2 dice, and whatever I roll, I have to take 2 off because I'm 2 casualties above my stamina value. So let's see what I roll. Here we go. So I rolled 7 minus 2 takes it down to 5, and the table says 5. Infantry and cavalry, the unit retires 1 full move to its rear without changing formation at all times, avoiding contact with the enemy. Once it is moved, the unit becomes disordered if it is not already disordered. If unable to comply, the unit may make 2 moves to the rear if this enables it to reach a tenable position. If unable to complete this with a further request, the unit breaks as described for 4 or less above. So they've got to move back. So let's get the tape measure and move them back. Now I'm going to move them back. I'm not going to move them back to full move because it doesn't really, because if I do that, it'll go off the camera and you won't see what's going to happen now. So they're shaking and they're disordered, and then this goes back down to 3. So they could do with the officer to come and join them now and help get rid of some of this damage. But basically, because they're just shaken and they're disordered, they're not really going to do anything now. But it's their turn. They're out of range. Just let me check. Yeah, see, they're out of range. And because they're disordered, they can't be ordered to move. So basically, they're just sat there sitting ducks and they can't do nothing now. Now, they get a chance. So say the officer is there and the officer decides to order them forward 1. So the officer has a command value of 8. So I need to roll 8, 7 or less for 1 move. Yep. So they can move forward 1 move. Again, not going to move the full distance, just going to move them up like so. So they're back in range. This is going to really hurt now. So again, 3 shots, in they come. And that's 2 hits. Let's try and make these saves. Makes them, however, disordered again. So the disorder stays. So they can't do nothing much really. So they're going to shoot back. Now they normally need 4s, but because they're disordered, it's 5s again. So here we go. Nothing. This is not looking good for the British. Continentals are going to shoot again. And we've got 2 hits again, so we make 2 saves. Will he do it? Oh yeah, and they made 2 saves again. Right, British turn again. They never got a 6 when they were shooting at them, so the disordered comes off, which means they can now shoot using 4s without the penalty. They're going to shoot back. And you get 2 hits. French turn. Continental turn to make a save. And he failed them. The Continentals are now on 2. Oh. The Continentals are going to shoot back. And get 1 hit. And the British failed it. That puts them on 4. Because they're over the stamina, got to roll for the break test. So again, know what we need to roll? We need to roll high. Rolled 7 minus 1 takes it down to 6. And the result for 6 is the unit holds its ground, stays where it is and does not move. So that's probably one of the best. 6 and 7 are good. Anything below, so 5 or less, is not good. So I could carry on rolling backwards and forwards, but it's not going to keep getting. So if I re-rolled this and he rolled a 3, a 3 would be the unit breaks and is deemed destroyed and remove the entire unit from the field. So that's it. Done. They're dead. So that's basic infantry on infantry shooting. Now you have got obstacles, fences, etc., which will give you modifiers. But that's basic. I just wanted to give you a quick overview of how shooting works. I didn't want to complicate it with formations, etc. I did say on episode 1 that if you've got a poor quality commander, you're better off deploying like this in a line. It's also beneficial for other reasons, because if you deploy like this in column, then you can't shoot. So it means you've got to move forward and form a line before you can shoot. However, if you do more than one move, you can't shoot that turn. So bear that in mind. So if you move them forward once, form a line, that's 2 moves, they can't shoot. If you deploy your units like this at the start of the battle, just march them across the field. As long as you just move once at a time, then you can shoot. Well, obviously you can move 2 or 3, but once you get close, just move 1 and then you'll be able to shoot. So that's a quick tip there. Depending on the size of your battlefield, you might need to keep them like this to move rapidly across the battlefield. But just remember, when you get within 18 inches or so, put them into line, because then you're going to be shooting. If you get within 18 inches of your opponent while you're like this, the chances are the opponent's going to shoot at you first before you get your chance to form a line and shoot back. Okay guys, so that's a quick one on shooting and a quick tip there at the end. Thanks for watching. See you all next time.